In the next pair of scriptures, we're going to look at some prepositions attached to him, and also as the cholam vav o will appear as the object of a verb. We saw that also with the he for she or her. It will appear for him as that cholam vav.
Bereshit Dalid Pasuk 15, Genesis 4:15. Vayomer lo Yahweh, lachen kol horeg Kayin, shivatayim yukam, vayasem Yahweh lakayin ot, levilti hakot oto kol motzo. Bereshit Kavzayin Pasuk 23, Genesis 27:23. Volo hikiro, ki hayu yadav ki yedei Esav, echiv, seirot, v'yivarchehu.
In Genesis 4:15, this is talking about Cain, and we see the first preposition attached to pronoun, vayomer lo, and he said to him. That lamed is a preposition that means to, and the o is for the him, that third person singular masculine that we're talking about. Vayomer lo, he said to him. In further down, we see again that direct object marker with the him. Hakot oto, he will smite him. So we don't have a preposition either for smite. We just smite him, the person, and this comes with a direct object marker oto. And then finally, in the last word, motzo, the word motzei is to find somebody, and Yahweh's talking about whoever will find him, he will find Cain. So that o at the end of motzo is to find him. It is a direct object of that verb. In the second verse, we're going to see 4 examples of that possessive his. This is during the midst of Jacob trying to fake out his dad and get the blessing. Remember, he dresses up like Esau, putting a hairy garment on, so he feels like Esau. The first o that's there is the object of the verb. It's a direct object. Hikir is to recognize, o. Lo hikir o. Isaac did not recognize him. Who is that him? That's Jacob. Why? Because his hands were like the hands of Esau. So it's his hands. Remember we looked at yado, one hand, his hand. Yad is the word for hand, and that o will be one, his hand. The plural for yad is yadayim. We're going to drop the mem sofit and add the vav. So it's yud dalid yud, vav. It's pronounced yadav, not yadaiv, but yadav. That is his hands, plural. We see that it's about his brother. We've already talked about his brother. The ach carries the yud in order to add the personal pronoun. And finally, the last word is not just a vav, but it's who. Who in Hebrew means he, and he means she. This is one of the joys of Hebrew, so we have a good time saying these little Abbott and Costello routines, who is he and he is she. O as an object of a verb does not frequently appear, although we've looked at some examples of it here. It is more frequent that the whole word who appears, and that's what we have here. Yivarechu, he blessed him. Who blessed who? Isaac blessed Jacob.
Bereshit Yud Chet Pasuk 19, Genesis 18:19. Ki yedativ lema'an asher yitzaveh et banav ve'et beito acharav v'shamru derech Yahweh la'asot tzedakah u'mishpat lema'an havi Yahweh al Avraham et asher diber elav. Bereshit Bet Pasuk 18, Genesis 2:18. Vayomer Yahweh Elohim, lo tov heyot ha'adam levado, e'eseh lo ezer kenegdo.
In Genesis 18:19, we have a lot of different his or him. The first word there with the vav is yidativ. And this is referring to Yahweh knowing something. We know that yada means to know. Yadati, that T ending there is the perfect first person. I knew. And if we want to say I knew him, when we add that vav, again, the yud will cause the vav to be a consonant there, and it's not yaditayo or something, yidativ. I knew him. When it's talking about he will command his sons, banav, okay? Ben is the singular, banim is the plural. We drop the mem sofit, we add that vav for his. Banav, his sons, plural. Beito, his house. This looks kind of normal. This is a case where a singular masculine noun does have a slight alteration in vowels when the possessive pronoun is added. So we don't say bayit-o, we say beito. But that means his house. Acharav is a preposition. And there are a group of prepositions, and we're going to look at some of them, that also will always carry the yud when the possessive pronoun is added to it. Acharai means, well, acharai means behind me. But achar means that something happens after something, or someone is behind another person. So if it is behind him, in other words, what he's really talking about is his generations after him. Acharav means after him. Again, we pronounce it av, but there's no I there. The final word in the verse is another preposition, al. Al means on. But if it's on him, on her, on me, on us, whatever, it's not an al and then the preposition. It carries that yud with it like achar. So it's alav, on him. In the next verse, we have some examples, again, with prepositions. Lavado. There are some words that, when you're trying to study lavad, you're not going to find it in your Strongs. This is particularly true, I think, of some prepositions. Lavad comes from the word vadad, which means to be alone. The l is to, and the o at the end is him. You're always talking about Adam. It's not good for him to be levado, by himself. So the o on the end is him. The bad in the middle, badad, is alone. And le, we might translate to, but we say in English, by himself. He says it's not good for the man to be levado, by himself. He says, I will make lo, e'eseh lo, to him, for him. I will make for him. We've talked about lo already. Ezer, a helper, kenegdo. The ka is a particle, which we'll learn about when we get to kaf. That means like. Neged is a preposition that means across from. It can mean against, but it really means across from, face to face. So kenegdo is a helper who is kind of the opposite of him, across from him. It's a very, very nice picture. If two people are facing each other, each one can see what's behind the other person. I cannot ever hope to see what's behind myself without turning around. My vision is forward. But if I have someone facing me, they can see what's behind me. And that is the picture of the marriage. That is a picture of the helper who is opposite him, who is across from him, who is, but together they can see the full 360 degrees.
Yeshayahu Hey, Pasuk Shtayim, Isaiah 5:2. V'yazkehu, v'yisaklehu, v'yita'ehu sorek, v'yivin migdal betocho, v'gam yekev chatzev bo, v'yikav la'asot anavim, v'ya'as be'ushim. Vayikra Daled, Pasuk Cha Esrei, Leviticus 4:19. Ve'et kol chelbo yarim mimenu vehiktir hamizbecha.
In Isaiah 5, we see where the object of the verb is the who, the hey vav. I know when you spell who when it stands by itself to mean he, that it has an aleph on it, but as the object of the verb, there is no aleph. So Yahweh is talking about this vineyard, and he says, I fenced him. Well, we would say it, but we see the who attached to the verb. I took the stones out of him. I planted him. And I planted that vine, and I built a tower, betocho, in the midst of him. The betoch is a preposition that means in the middle of or in the midst of, and the o at the end means him. That's talking about the vineyard. He also built a wine press, bo. That we would say in it. That's all within the confines of the vineyard, and all those O's refer to, or who's refer to the vineyard. The following verse is talking about the fat of the offering, and I wanted to show this. The fat is chelev. Chelbo means his fat. That's the fat of the offering, and it's going up mimenu. And you might have learned that the letter mem is a preposition that means from, and that is how it's used when it's attached to a place or a person specifically. But when it is used as a preposition with a pronoun attached to it, the word gets longer. And we're going to look at some other prepositions that are like that. So we don't say mimo, or something like that. It's mimeni, from me, mimecha, from you. And when we get to who, it's not o, it's u. Mimenu, from him.